Good morning, Friday 10th of October, so another weekly update for you. This morning, Friday setup, we've cut greens, roll greens, cut tees and aprons, back on a two-man setup of tees and aprons because we had our old sort of top dressing units on the tees and aprons where they had a lot of sand on them from the top dressing and the renovations we did. After the last week's storm rain, that dressing has all gone in nicely now. We're able to put our good units back on, and if it does knock them off cut, we've got some grinders so we can resharpen them. But they're in a level now that the two-man operation can go back out a nice sharp cut on the aprons and the tees. Also, there's a tee set up behind all that this morning, whereby we did a full rake. Sorry, not a full rake, a full divot on tees on Tuesday behind Tuesday's tee cut, and then we've gone had a tee set up with someone putting the tee markers back on and divoting from Thursday's play. So the tees are all fully divoted, ready for the weekend, and of course also a full rake on the bunkers. A note on course setups: it's quite dark in the morning, so if you do see bits and pieces of mess around, then it's not due to negligence or attention to detail. We are doing, at least now as this morning, it's been 2 hours worth of work in the dark, so we may not always see some of the clippings that we drop. We've had a flush of growth recently. There's heavy dews in the morning, so that does cause things to be a bit messy at times. So if you are seeing a few clippings and things out on the golf course, then that is why. It's because we're still trying to set up a very high-end good golf course, because conditions are really allowing us to do that. We've got great sward density or coverage on the golf course. Everything's green back up from the summer after the autumn rain. So yeah, and that is, as I said, that with that flush of growth and things, it will cause little bits and pieces of mess. So it's not through negligence or lack of attention to detail. It's just a little bit dark in the mornings and things like that. So the wet and windy weather we had over the early part of last weekend caused a bit of mess and untidiness on the golf course. Quite a lot of as it gets into autumn now and the leaves start to fall and you get those high winds, the bunkers can become traps for those leaves. So, and the car park was also quite a mess, particularly the bottom end of the car park. So early part of the week, Monday, Tuesday, we just spent a bit of time getting all those areas blown out and tidied back up again. And that will be a common and ongoing issue throughout the leaf fall season, almost all the way up to end of whenever November, Christmas time, when all the leaves are down. We will start to see leaf fall across the golf course and in these areas. We've continued to work on wear and tear areas this week by seeding and fertilising and then spiking that into the ground and then roping it off to allow those areas to recover. We've had a bit of a double whammy over the last year. As we sort of came out of last winter, we're a very busy golf course, and with our free draining nature, it almost never gets a rest because we're able to play almost 365 days a year out here, and that can create some pinch points and wear and tear areas that we very much intend to manage a bit better this year. And then we've gone through quite a very dry spring and summer, so we've struggled to get those areas to recover and come back. So now that we have ideal growing conditions and heading in through this autumn, we put some seed down in these areas and fertilised it, spiked them and wrote them off to keep people off them to get these areas to come back. And as we go through the winter, we'll continue to manage these areas and where the traffic is and push people further and further away, just to manage these areas and keep the areas close to the playing surfaces as neat and tidy and as good a grass coverage as we can. We've roped off the pathway at 4. The idea behind this is to allow the grass to come through. This pathway does have holes in this AstroTurf matting, does have holes in it to allow natural grass to come through. So it's like a hybrid AstroTurf. So it creates a solid base to allow the grass to come through, and then it takes the wear and tear. We've tried this product, really like it. I think it works very well. So it looks nice when there's no grass on it, and then it will look great in like a grass pathway, and take the weight and the strain and the wear and tear when the grass is in it. So we've roped this off and just allowed little sections to go through to access the tee, just to keep people off it and allow the grass to go through again these autumnal growing conditions, and then get the grass in it, and then we can mow it and treat it as a grass pathway, which is displayed by the photo above. Some of the scarring we have on the outsides of the greens, they've been plugged and soil and seeded to strengthen those areas to get them back to full turf health. We've started work on reinstating the 17th back tee. Originally we took the turf off that, the good quality turf that was on that we took off because the tee was uneven, and it helped expand the lower tees to give more teeing space to within the yellow and white area. And then we've now levelled it off at a base level, and then we started putting some of the root zone back on, and we'll get to fully levelling that off and seeding that into next week. So we're just going to reconfigure this area at the behind the 11th. We put some mounding up to put a grass dump area, but we don't want it to be seen. And yeah, the design that we've gone with initially hasn't quite worked. So we're going to take this out and redesign it. The spoil that we have taken out, we're going to use to build up the front of the 15th yellow tee. It's quite nice and local to that area, so it's not too much travel. And the 15th tee is quite a funny shape. So we're going to, the area right at the front of the photo where it's grassy, we're going to trim that down and top dress that to turn that back into a tee. And then, yeah, as I say, we're going to build up that front right from the middle there and the front right too, so we can have that as a much larger tee. This is a tee that struggles with winter wear. It took a long time to come back this summer with a lack of growing conditions. So we're trying to create tees that are large enough to host golf all year round. So yeah, that's a reason for extending it forward. That's all for this week, folks, and we look forward to catching up with you again next week.